order. Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come together today to start our journey for this year as a new council. I want to pray and ask a special blessing upon our new council members. Please guide them, direct them, and speak to them as you have us. Help us to continue to do a good job for the citizens of this community and to remember that it's not our money, that it's the citizens' money. Help us to do your will and to be good leaders as we go into 2023. Be with us, Lord, and help and protect our county. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, so we have our new board members here. We've got John Collins, Jara Ward, John Miller, Johnny White, of course, you know, Diane and Eric. So that is the new, your new council. And 3 and 4, and yeah, yes. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to elect officers for 2023 year. So if anyone has first one we'll do is president. If anyone has a nomination for president, we'll entertain that.
I'll nominate Lindy for president.
I'd second that.
Well, thank you guys. Okay, I have a motion by Eric and a second by JR to nominate myself as president. All in favor? Any no's?
No, I didn't know if you saw me.
No? Thanks.
No, that's a yes. No, that's a yes. No, that's a yes.
Okay. And then for vice president or vice chair, we need a motion for that. I nominate J.R. Ward.
I'll second that.
Second it. All in favor?
You're not gonna vote yourself?
Thank you.
You got the deciding vote, JR.
I guess. Me?
Get
This is America, you get a vote.
I know, right? Get beat because I don't do it.
Okay, so we have 1 abstain. Okay. Well, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to, I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda to move the consideration of the 2023 board appointments up. I'll need a motion for that to amend.
I'd make that motion to move it up to the next on the agenda.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, so the next thing on the agenda, we're gonna do the 2023 board appointments. The first one that we're going to entertain is going to be the Scott County Regional Sewer District. Because our new auditor, Jennifer Hamlin, she needs to come off as the Johnson Township representative. So we have a name for that. Who's that?
Lori Brown.
Lori Brown?
Yes.
Why does that name sound familiar to you? Do I know her?
She's married to Kevin Brown. They have KLB Construction.
I mean, I don't know the person, I just know that. That's why it sounds familiar.
Okay. So I need a motion to appoint Lori Brown as the Johnson Township representative. Okay.
I'll second that.
I'm gonna figure out a better way to do the Johns. John Miller first.
Don't put Junior because that's a JR also.
Okay.
Too many J's.
It's gonna be an interesting year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all in favor? 7-0. All right. All right, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't believe so.
You need anything from us moving forward?
I'm sorry?
You need anything from us moving forward?
No, I would like to tell you a little bit about what's going on with the sewer district. Jennifer may, already told you, I don't know, but, we've been in a lot of litigation in the last 2 or 3 years with the city. And I think, we've gotten resolution to a good portion of that. There is a hearing on the 20th, with the federal court, for settlement, 20th of this year in Indianapolis. And, board representative will have to be there. Probably won't be me, you know, but there will be a representative there, looking at settlement and how jurisdictional boundaries will be recognized and honored in the future. And talking about the current debates that's been going on with the city. I think thanks to the cooperation from the city council, there has been some resolutions on a lot of those issues. And we hope that it's gonna be a very congenial relationship in the future. And one thing that we've got a sewer line that's gonna be serving the western portion of the county. It's located coming down Taylor Mill Road, from the city line out there by the, I can't remember the name of the junction there, Jennifer, on the city sewer line. They'll be connected into the city for city treatment.
Be right there by the trailer park moving south from there.
Yeah. And, so, that's coming. There's gonna be quite a bit of an expense there, and we're right now in process of getting estimates and bids for them. And we may very well have a representative here, probably one of our legal representatives in the future to talk to the city council about any allocation of funds that might be available, because it's gonna be expensive. But we were chartered originally to serve the wastewater needs of Scott County, and not just for one area, the whole county. And IDM has already approved a construction permit for the wastewater lift station that's going to be involved. And we, the city had that bid originally, and they've signed it over to us. So the sewer district now owns that. And
The bid or the permit?
the permit.
Permit,
To
okay.
actually get it done with IDM. IDM has transferred that to us.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of getting the bids and everything put together from the contractors to get the work started. We've already received quotes for the lift station, and some of the things, you know, have to be done.
Right.
We're waiting to get information from the people that's actually gonna dig a ditch and lay the pipe. So, yeah, but that's all coming, and you'll probably hear more about it in the future, but I just wanted to make you aware, you know, what's going on with this. Got any questions? Anything I can do to help?
I believe so.
So, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, Segasser Engineering used to be where we operated from. They have since closed, gone out of business. So we're now located at 1206 South Taylor Mill Road is our office. We'll have office hours, and we're trying to get we're having some problems with the post office, getting address changes and everything made. But we'll be using their St. P.O. Box 14 for most customer communication, other than what we'll have in our office. Our office will be open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 3. So. Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Jennifer, good luck.
Thank you. I'm gonna need every bit of it. Where did you get my message yesterday, to call that gentleman from Englishton Park?
I'm sorry?
The gentleman from Englishton Park.
I sent that to Elizabeth. Elizabeth will meet, by the way, our new office manager.
Okay,
So, she's got that, and be contacting him today.
okay, that'll be wonderful, thank you.
Okay?
Since we got this gentleman, are we going to the top Just working through it.
Okay, if you don't need me for anything else, I've got a doctor's appointment coming up, so I'm
Thank you.
gonna vacate the premise.
All right,
Thanks, Randy.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, man.
Get this all figured out.
All right, since we are on the 2023 board appointments, you guys just wanna go down through the committees and boards and get them out of the way?
Do it.
Okay, first one on the list is the Alcohol and Beverage Commission. We have, currently Perry Hayes is on there, his appointment was up on the 31st, December 31st. Do we have a nomination to put on that one?
I would nominate Jeremy Arnold for that.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Alright, Advisory Plan Commission, do we have a nomination for that? I nominate, if no one knows, I nominate Eric Lusty for that one,
I'd second that.
all in favor? Alright, Board of Zoning and Appeals, we have Jim Boswell on there, do we have a nomination for that?
Yeah, Paul, no.
Paul Rowe?
I'll second that.
Can you, spell that, Eric?
You spell that last name?
R-O-N-A-U.
I believe that's right.
R.O. Paul. So I have Eric and White,
Who seconded that?
White,
White.
all in favor? Alright, next is the Civil Defense and Emergency Management.
You know how many times they meet,
Who?
this one, the emergency civil defense?
I think it's based on Jeff Fortner's needs and
Yeah.
with the EMA. It's based on
Yeah.
Fortner's needs through the EMA, I believe,
Just as needed.
as needed.
Unless you've already got somebody in mind, that's fine.
I think JR was interested
That's
in
okay,
that.
that's okay, no worries, no worries.
So I nominate J.R. Ward.
Second it.
I'll second that. I didn't know we had somebody, that's the reason I was.
All in favor? Alright, we have, for the county council attorney, I know that we are entertaining having legal representation. We're still looking to find, in talks with trying to find somebody that would be able to make our meetings, that type of stuff. So we're gonna leave that one vacated, until we have some options, and then we'll vote on whether we're going to get legal representation. Next one is County Insurance Committee, it was Rachel and myself. Do we have nomination for,
Nominate you to retain on that, and whoever else needs, for one position. You need a
Second
second
on that
position.
Second that.
and then,
Yeah.
yeah,
And John.
John Miller, second.
I'll do yours, we got all in favor, okay. And then I nominate John Miller for the, replace Rachel Harden,
Second that.
okay. All in favor? Alright, Economic Development, I nominate John Collins. You okay with that?
I guess.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
John Collins.
Collins.
All in favor?
It'll never be the same.
EMS Advisory Board, replace Raymond Jones, I nominate J.R. Ward.
I'd second that.
All in favor? Okay, now we're on to Library Trustee, Sheila Williams is retaining her position, she's got another year left. Carol Deaton, is the one that's up.
On here it shows 2021, or appointed for 4 years, I'm good, so she's got
Yeah, she,
2 more years, right?
who,
Sheila Williams,
yeah,
I'll
Okay.
nominate John White for that.
okay.
for the Deaton,
For Carol's spot, yes.
I'll second.
Donnie Ritchie, that's 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Miller, who seconded it? I'm sorry, Eric.
that should definitely,
All in favor?
They voted on.
alright,
All in favor?
sorry.
Alright, for the
Point of
personnel,
order, Madam Vice President,
yes,
Advisory.
advisory board was for 4 years and his term isn't up till this year.
it has to be a council member, and so,
Okay,
because he's
okay,
not on
just
council.
inquiring.
Yep.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, I had to look at those too. So the personnel committee, I would like to retain that position. I have a nominee.
I'd make a
Nomination for
motion, I'll second Collins.
All in favor? And then, to replace Rachel, you have a nomination, I nominate JR, if nobody has anything.
You're gonna be busy, JR.
I second that.
All in
Got
favor?
a feeling like I didn't show up for this meeting.
JR and Lindy
You
on.
got voted in big
Yeah.
time.
Not
Yep.
bad, right?
Alright, redevelopment commission, is there a nomination to replace myself? Anybody? Or nominate Johnny White if we got nobody?
I'll second that. Is he going with you or replacing you?
He's going to replace me,
Alright,
well, either or. I'm sorry, he's replacing Iva's, yeah, he's replacing Iva,
okay,
and then we need somebody to replace me, and I will nominate John Collins.
Boy, good day.
A second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Are you in favor of yourself?
Okay. River Hills Board, do we have a nomination to replace myself on that board? Anybody? Yeah,
I think Adam Bomar was interested in that, I'd make a motion to appoint him to that.
a second,
Second,
all in favor?
Adam.
Bomar.
Against, okay.
Did my personnel go to you?
Okay.
That didn't take long.
We vote on that.
Alright, Scott County Partnership, Scott County Partnership to replace Rachel. I nominate John Miller.
Second,
Okay.
All in favor?
I missed last time.
John Miller.
He's gonna be a busy guy. Southern Indiana Solid Waste District, Diana's stepping down. Do we have a motion to replace her? I nominate John Miller.
Busy man.
It's gonna be the big briefcase.
Who?
Miller.
Who's gonna be busy?
I think so.
Yep.
Lydia was there second.
Yes,
White.
Johnny White.
Okay.
We're just gonna go by last names.
Yes. Too many Johns and Jays.
No disrespect to anybody, but we're just gonna have to go by last names. All in favor?
Do we have John Collins?
Miller?
Miller.
Bill?
Alright, and then Scott County Economic Development, Eric, would you like to retain that one for another year?
I move we let Eric retain it.
Us.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, that part is, who's second?
Is it John Miller?
Yes. No, Eric is retaining that.
Eric is retaining it.
John Miller.
Miller is
Second,
second.
yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hey. I feel like she's judging me.
I am not judging you, I'm just running fast.
Okay, next, on the agenda is to set the meeting dates. I know that last year we had entertained the motion to move, our dates, our times. Still keeping them the second Tuesday of the month, but moving the times later in the evening. Not only so it'd be more convenient for, us to get there, but also the public. So I would like to make a motion to move meetings to 5:30, second Tuesday of every month.
I second that.
All in favor?
Everybody good? Well, I mean,
Was that gonna be your second now?
I'm okay with neutral, but I just didn't know if there's anybody.
I just have to talk to work, because I had to move me to 12:30 so I could be here in the mornings. I just gotta, if I have to take off, they knew that was part of my hiring, that I had to be off for the meeting, so we just have to do some shifting.
Any place to be determined, Lindy?
Here, usually, just the
Yep,
meetings be
yep,
here,
here.
unless
second.
otherwise noted.
I mean, at 5:30, I can still work half a day.
Miller second that,
Did you,
didn't
did you second it? Yeah.
I think it'd be better for the public to be able to be here and not pull you and other department heads away from their offices if they need to be at.
Right, and people have businesses.
I literally went through all of them before I got to you. I went White, Collins, Miller, Grayson. All right, did we already vote? Yes, we did, right?
Yes.
7-0?
7-0 on that.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the sheriff's commissary resolution. In 2019, I believe, 18 or 19, 19, the council, created an ordinance to allow the sheriff to spend outside of his, outside the IC code for the sheriff commissary. I am proposing a resolution in accordance to bring it back, his commissary spending, bring it back to state statute.
I will make a motion to accept this resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I got a question.
Mhm.
If it's all right. Does this, I mean, I haven't read through this, I'm sorry, but does it have anything, added or subtracted to the state requirements that, so we're just simply,
It is going back to state statute. Nothing, yep, nothing added.
nothing added
We
or?
can't take away from state statute,
Okay.
so it is literally going back to state statute.
Okay. Good.
So, who, White,
7-0.
and all in favor, do we already vote?
7-0.
Okay. All right, Nick.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
He comes with colorful stuff every time. Every time it's colorful. It
I
brings,
think it makes it easier to read.
brings color into our lives.
Take your time, I'll wait.
You're on my time, sir.
So much easier to read when it's all different colors. I like it that way.
Perfect. As you can see, there's quite a bit in your packet here, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna take up a little bit of your morning, just to go over it, and then also clarify some things. I'm gonna hand you this here. You've got one in your packet now. This one is last year's. Can you get Mr. Collins, please? This is last year's income sheet. This is what we actually received, not what we billed for, what we received. Thank you. It's broke down by month and by vendor, if you will, or type of vendor. We have one billing department. We use ambulance.
2023.
That is current, yes. The one that I gave
One
you,
is in this, yeah.
the one that's in your actual packet, that's current.
You got 22 on there. So
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
That's my fault.
That's fine.
Oversight.
Make sure.
Copy paste.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yes, that was 23, so it's an oversight on
So
my
that's
part.
what you got so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the one that I just handed you that's loose is last year's income. That is end of year, financials on the front. As you can see, between our revenue, our training income and our paramedic program we brought in, we have collected, received in our bank account over $1.6 million. If you turn to the second page, that's the run volume that we do for the year. It's broke down into type of runs, AMA and lift assist, which are either people refuse to go to the hospital or it was toned out as just a lift assist. BLS runs are our basic units, ALS runs are our paramedic units, and then obviously your canceled, your false runs, or your bodies are the blue bar. So if you have any questions about that, I can clarify any of that you would like. My goal when I came here was to somehow hit 1.6 million. Last year at the end of 2021, they collected 1.412 million. And then this year we ended at 1.6. So that was my goal, to start making some progress on the income that we were at. So if you have any questions about last year's income, I am here to explain, answer, or do the best of my abilities to get through what I can answer for you.
Like on your first item here, when you go out and if you use for just a lift or whatever, can you still bill for that?
We do bill now. There's a caveat to some of that, and if you'd like, I can show you what our bill rates are at. I can print that off and bring that next meeting. So, there's a lift assist bill rate, which is 75, and there's an AMA bill rate, which is 100.
Okay.
Those are two different bill rates. Insurance doesn't cover either of those.
Okay.
We are below the average on what those billable items are, but we are on the high side of the poverty level, so it's kind of a balance between the two. I mean, I don't want to bankrupt
No,
anybody.
I totally understand, yeah.
So that's where we're at on those. Our bill rates for BLS are 700 plus mileage. Our bill rates for ALS have several different brackets, whether it's an advanced, a paramedic, a critical care paramedic, or all of that. So those bill rates fluctuate. So,
And that's because sometimes you take them out of county too.
yeah, out of county, level of care, like if I have an advanced unit, tech it in, we can only bill for so much. If I tech it in, we can bill for the highest rate. It really depends on what it is. So, back to the packet now.
Sorry.
Well, you're good. I'm here to answer any and all questions you have. I know this can be some heavy information and some people don't kind of understand the inner workings, so that's why I'm here. I did not properly introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I'm the chief of EMS. That is Devonna back there. She is my deputy. We are the ones that handle all day-to-day in and outs of the service. So if you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of me. I will give you guys a card before I leave. But again, December finished with 159. Training department finished the year at just shy of 29,000. Paramedic program was just shy of 40,000. Last year, the council elected to fund the paramedic program out of LIT. They allocated me 66,000 for the last year and this year total, not 66 per year. 66 because the program runs between 2 years. And we've already collected 40,000 of that back, and we still have an outstanding balance on the class of right at 60,000. So we are not anywhere near projected to spend all of the 66,000. So that is where we're at right now. Right now we've collected more than we've spent on the paramedic program. As you can see, between 21 and 22, we had a 13% increase on income, just shy of $190,000 difference between the 2 years. Runs, we had an 8% decrease. We had 379 less runs. And our cash ledger at the end of the year was 411,000. When we started the year, it was at 179. One thing that we were short because we got our deposit on the 31st, so our deposit on the 31st didn't hit for the end of the year. So right now, our current cash ledger is $590,500. That was with the deposit that we put in today.
What was that again, please?
590,000. That will be once the deposit we just posted today hits. Any questions about, any of those financials or runs or anything that I can explain? No? Okay. Moving on. This one here that's fairly blank is the one that we've collected this year. We've only had one deposit this year. They do deposits every Friday, unless it's the 30th or the 31st of the month. And then if that's within the Wednesday, they won't give me a deposit the last Friday. They'll just hold everything till that Wednesday. So I get deposits every Friday except for the last day of the month. That one's moved. So that was our first deposit for the month. And then you can see we've already collected some for the paramedic program and training already this year. I do want to say our training department is highly active this year. We have classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the next 6 months. We have EMR, EMT, advanced EMT, paramedic, PI, and CPR all running right now. So you should see quite an increase on the training
Are you
department.
getting more people from outside of county now for training? Are you getting some from out of county?
Washington County sent me a couple for their EMR and their EMT. I got a couple people from Kentucky in my EMT. Everybody in my advanced classes from out of county. Paramedics, about 50-50. CPR, we get more local than we don't. PI, I've got people coming from Indy all the way to past Brooksville, so.
That's good.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. This sheet says ambulance billing on top. This will kind of explain how EMS billing works. So, for those of you that were at the commissioner meeting last week, you heard me talking about what we bill for and what our collectibles are, and there's mandatory adjustments and stuff. As you can see, in 2022, Scott County EMS billed for $4.736 million. However, if you look right below that, there's a negative $2.5 million. What that is that's Medicare and Medicaid adjustments off the top. We don't have any control over that, nor does any other ambulance service, hospital, doctor's office, clinic, anything. That is a mandatory. You lose it because of the Medicare and Medicaid adjustments. So what we could collect, we billed 2.2 million is what we billed in 2022. Out of that 2.2 million, we collected 1.52 million, which is almost 75% of collectibles. The 52 to 48% ratio that you heard me talk about was if you take the total bill, you adjust it with that mandatory, that's where you're getting that difference. We have to include that in our initial stuff because that is what we billed for. We don't get that definitive mandatory adjustment until the end of the year because it's run dependent. So if you notice on here, this is from ambulance billing. This is nothing I've created because I wanted to get unbiased opinion. That way it's not just me feeding you what you think I want you to hear. You'll notice that at the bottom, our poverty level exceeds the state average. That's why our Medicare hit and Medicaid hit is higher than normal. That's just, again, we can't control that. So that is where we are at on that.
What is your steps to do the collection on what you don't get paid at the end of the year?
So we have we deal with New World Collections, is our collections company. Last year, I don't have the numbers for 22. 21, they collected about 8 to 10%. Last I looked, we were at 11% for 22, but I don't have anything finalized. The way the stuff's written, I have the ability to send stuff to collections or do whatever. They deal with it, they send me an approval and I say yes or no. They'll usually hunt down for garnishment. There's a whole back-end process, but we do have the ability to do that. One thing that we do not send to collections, because we can't, because it doesn't meet the minimum threshold, is the AMAs and lift assist, because they're
just like a service call.
Yeah, it's just a service call. The only time that those get sent to collections if it's a repetitive customer and repetitive patient, and those start stacking up. Then they can, once they've accumulated so much in a short amount of time, those can bundle together and then get sent, but individually they do not.
No, 11%, that's not bad.
No, not.
It's not at all.
I mean, it doesn't sound good, but it's actually not bad at all.
Better than zero.
Yes. So, but yeah, I get emails bi-weekly to monthly, depending on how active they are, to see that they've tracked someone down for garnishment, or they've approved legal to proceed to garnishment, or there's all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. The other page here I provided this. This is a 5-page sheet. It's completely for your information. It tells you how Medicare works, how Medicaid works, how private pays work, how our contracts work, what we do for claims, collections, all of that. So this is just to read at your own time. That way, any information that I provide to you in the future, you might be able to understand a little more clearly.
You could email me this?
This?
Yeah, about the billing.
Yep.
I'll get your name and address for you.
I think if it's in the,
Yeah.
if it's in the county ad, I can do it.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so you just want the digital copy of this? Okay, yep. So that is for, again, when you got some downtime and you're bored between meetings or something, so, that'll be there. So the hot topic that I know most of you don't wanna hear about, and I don't wanna deal with, to be honest, but I'm just trying to get ahead of this ballgame. For those of you that are not familiar, 3 years ago, Scott County EMS purchased 5 ambulances all at once. Some of you are very familiar with that situation, some of you are not. That was not a wise idea, because now it has put its expiration dates all together. I'm trying to get ahead of this game so you guys don't have to deal with that process again.
When did they buy them? I'm sorry, I didn't.
2019.
2019.
One of them's been sold. and retained.
One has been sold because it would not fit in our bay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
four.
Monster.
Yes.
So basically we got 4 now.
We have 4 plus one that is a 2014 that we're still running. That 2014 has a new transmission in it. Well, not new, it was a new one I was here the first time. There's a Jasper transmission in it. It's got 20 to 30,000 miles on it.
Is that
The transmission.
is that the one that just went out?
No, that's a
No,
different one. That's a whole other
different- That's a
ballgame.
different story. Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
So, one thing that I feel needs to be addressed is that we need to get ahead of this cycle so we do not get to the point where we can't afford trucks again. As you can see, we do about 4,800 runs is what we did last year. The year prior, we did 5,000. That includes the stuff out of the hospital, that includes 911s that go to Clark, Floyd, Norton, and then to Scott and wherever else. Right now, I've got 2 trucks approaching 100,000 miles. I've got one approaching 60 and one approaching 40, so that one's good. Now, whilst that doesn't sound like a lot, the way these things are ran, the weight they carry, and the conditioning of them, on these gas motors, 120 to 140,000 miles is what you get out of them until you start having problems. Additionally, the boxes and stuff need to be remounted because the seams and all that stuff start to wear because they're welded together or sealed together, and that's just nature of the beast.
How many gas you got?
Sir?
How many gas?
I have 3 gas, 6, 7, or V8 7.0s, the Fords. I've got 2 diesels. One is a 6.6 Duramax, that's the 2014. The other one is also a Duramax, that is the 2019 school truck, the Type 1. So, that being said, I initially got some quotes and specs and all of that from the vendors that we normally use. I have been asked to reach out to more, and that is what this pile of paperwork is here. This is every vendor that can sell to me within a 400 to 500 mile radius. And as you can see on most of these, you have lead times of 18 to 19 months, 30 to 60 days after 24 months, 2024, no demos available, 750 days, 390 days plus 120-day build plus 120-day delivery, no demos available, 200 days after the 750-day chassis build date. That is what we're dealing with. Delivery times of 2025 and 2026, unless we buy a demo.
What is the time out of service from the 2019s? When do you gotta take them out of service?
It's not that I have to take them out of service, it's that, so one of the ones that's approaching 100,000 miles, transmission just went out of.
Okay.
Now I have no backup. Like, this is the situation that we get in. And to some people that may not matter, I'm the department head, and to me it matters a lot that I have no backup.
Yeah.
Because if, heaven forbid, we get in an accident today, something else happens to a truck,
Yeah, I got you.
I can't now cover the county, because that one is out of
I just
service.
didn't know the time of service, I didn't know there was like a state law where, you know,
No.
vehicles got so many miles and had to come out of service, that's
No.
what I didn't
It's,
understand that.
with the experience that I've had, being in the supervisory positions, being a director somewhere else and here, once you get to that 120, 130,000, you start having them out of service a lot more because stuff starts failing pretty quickly. Now, you might have one that give you 160, 170 out of it. You might. In history, from the probably 20 different ambulances that I've drove between here and the other place, that's about par for the course.
I've got this.
Yeah, so,
And you probably just can't get anybody to work on them either, they have.
no, and that's, so this transmission issue that I'm dealing with now has to go south because
Right.
the deal, even the dealerships, they can't lift it because it's a 12-foot box that they can't lift, so it's gotta go to a specialty repair place that's inconvenient to get to, but it is what it is, we're dealing with it, but yeah, I can't just take it over to Scott County Tire and have them.
Well, that's what I meant, it's gonna be more difficult for you to get it fixed if it does break down.
Is that warranty or no on that transmission? So that's on us,
It's,
And
cause
it's
it's
gonna-
560.
and it's gonna be repaired, so then it'll be put back in rotation.
Once
And
it's
then the
fixed.
plan, like I think we've talked briefly, is to possibly try to acquire a new unit and then use those to remount some. Is
So
that your plan?
this is, I am not a huge advocate of just buying everything new. I think there's some stuff that can be repurposed, because new gets you again in the situation we're in. My idea, my plan, my proposal, my whatever verbiage you want to use is that we acquire a demo unit, one of the few that's available, because then it'll start letting me to recycle some of these trucks. And the difference between a demo unit and a build unit is that a demo unit, one of these dealers just builds to spec and you get what you get. You can't say, I want this type here, you get what you get. A spec build is I get to pick out what handles I want down there, what color the lighting is and all of that. We don't need that here. I just need an ambulance that runs. After that, what I'd like to do is that 2014 that we've got, my idea is to acquire a demo unit. After that's achieved or received, then we can send that 2014 needs updated. The filters need updated, AC and heater need updated. But instead of where that transmission's new and that diesel motor's only got 120,000 miles on it, I got quoted $8,000 to sell that thing. That motor's worth that.
Right.
So I don't wanna get rid of that. What I'd like to see is then instead of buying another $300,000 ambulance, spend $100,000, send that off and get everything repurposed on it and get it back. So now essentially we've got two vehicles for the price of one, because the demo units are cheaper, and then we're, instead of spending $300,000 on the ambulance, we're spending 100 and 125. I do feel like some of the stuff we can have is repurposed or repurposable, but that's just my idea. And then after that, you get in this rotation of you send your oldest truck off for remount, and then you buy a truck. And then you send another one off for remount, and you buy a truck. You have to do something to get in that rotation.
What's the lifetime of the box itself?
So the box can only be remounted 2 additional times. So once you have, and that is another problem, and the reason that you say, well, why can't we remount all of them? Some of the trucks that were bought in 2019 were already remounts. So that took one of its remount out of, the chassis was new, the box was repurposed. So to kind of extend these units, you kind of need to get in this buy, remount cycle to 1 year you buy, 1 year you remount, 1 year you buy, and that'll get you to where you're not.
Are the demos remounts too? Are
Some of them have the ability to be remount. If I'm dropping this much money, I did not want to consider a remount because I feel like for the extra $50,000, let's get the extra life out of it.
Right.
There is a couple that are available. I'm not fond of spending that many zeros and getting something used, if that makes sense. It's just my opinion. But the ability's there. I did not look at any of those just because of the life out of them. You're taking 5 years out of your cycle. Right. So
So the update, I just got one thing in there that the update for 125,000 or wherever that is for the 2014 that you're talking about. What's the difference between updating it or remounting it?
So the price. So if we remount it, it's gonna be about $180,000 to $200,000. That puts a new chassis underneath it. If we update it and they send it off, they redo the seals, they redo welds, like it's the paint starting.
Okay, so you're not doing the, okay.
No, it's just strip it, repaint it, update the lights, update the heating, update the air circulation, update all of the intricacies, but everything else, nothing gets taken off.
That was a dumb question. The remounts is different chassis.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sorry.
But, with that being said, I do have some quotes from people, and I just wanted to do this to give us time to, you to consider, advertise, whatever you wanna do. Do I need a truck right now? No, but the problem is, if you gave me the money today, I can't receive the truck right now. Even these demos, I'm looking at the end of the year receiving date. The soonest is June of this year would be the soonest we could get one. The ones that so let me back up. In the past, we've only used one dealer. I've obviously opened it up to anybody and everybody that'll sell, but the way it works is it's not like a Ford and a Chevy dealer. If Mr. Collins has, you know, Demirs and Braun and Wheeled Coach, and JR has the same, one of them is going to be Demirs and one of them is going to be Braun. They both can't sell me the same truck because they are an exclusive Braun dealer to this state or an exclusive Demirs dealer to this state. You can't just go wherever you want to buy. That's the problem with ambulances. So I've talked to PennCare, which is out of Ohio, and I've talked to Crossroads, which is out of Elkhart. Normally we use Crossroads. That's who we've dealt with in the past. I've opened it up just to anybody that can get me a unit. PennCare is willing to work with us. They brought a unit, was it after beginning of the year?
It was right.
End of the,
Right at the end.
just right at the end of the year, they brought a demo unit, for anybody to look at. I know I made that clear in the meeting that we had. That is something that we could acquire. PennCare, normally you have to put 10% down and then you pay kind of on a schedule till you receive it and then you pay in full. PennCare is willing to waive a deposit, so we don't have a deposit. And they're also willing to give us time to converse about this for 30 days while securing a unit. If we sign, and this is all in your packet, that's this thing here. It says if you guys are willing to sign to secure one of these units, it'll get us 30 days to take it off the market and secure funding. If we just choose not to do it, there's no penalty to us. It's nothing, but these units come and they go in about 2 to 3 weeks, they're gone. So it's just if you want to, perfect. It gives us time to figure this out. If you don't, I completely understand because I know that money is an issue right now. I'm just trying to do my due diligence to not get us in the situation where we have to spend $1 million on trucks. That's all I'm trying to do because we can't afford it. As good as we're doing on income, I don't have the money after what was moved out of lit and what I'm responsible for this year to cover anything extra, you know. So I'm just doing my due diligence to get everyone in the county prepared, not just me.
When do you need to know an answer by?
So these two second pieces, or these two last pieces of paper are 2 bids from PennCare. One of them is for a Type 3, which is a van chassis with a box. One of them is for a Type 1, which is a truck chassis that's 4-wheel drive with the same box, it's just a chassis that it's set up. Those are the 2 options. Both of these are the truck chassis is a diesel, the van chassis is obviously gas. The truck chassis is 4-wheel drive, the van chassis obviously is not. The boxes themselves are identical, it all has to do with the chassis itself, and the suspension, the 4-wheel drive, and the motor.
But you as an ambulance company, you won't go off-road, so you don't really need 4-wheel drive, right?
Typically no. Some of the driveways in this county get a little slick where we start sliding and they're not fun. We actually use it more than you probably think. We use it mainly in the weather, like, you know, do we experience that year round? Absolutely not. If not, if we went something with like this Type 3 here, it'd be my recommendation after we got it, send it somewhere and get the chains put on at a minimum because all of our trucks have those if they're not 4-wheel drive. Do we need 4-wheel drive? No. Is it very helpful? Yes. I mean, but again, my opinion is I'm indifferent on it. Because my experience, if it starts to get stuck, it's stuck. we're calling a record, regardless.
On top three, what was that again, I'm sorry?
Type 3 is a van chassis,
Main chassis?
so like an Econoline E450
Okay,
with a box on it.
okay.
And then the, Type 1 would be a F450 truck with the same box on it, the box is identical.
We have some four-wheel drive now.
We have two.
right, two. And we're keeping both of those.
Those,
Won't be one that's.
one of the four-wheel drives is the newest truck that we've acquired, and one of them is the diesel, one of the other diesels that I referenced, which has got 70,000 miles on it right now.
So they're decent. So we could almost skip the four-wheel drive option this time and the next new truck and look at four-wheel drive, is what I'm shooting at in my mind.
So there are some other ones in here that I don't have actual dictation quotes for, but there's only one other one that,
Both in demos?
yes, sir, both of these are,
available?
yeah,
Okay.
both of them are available right now. Well, the Type 1's not now, this one is.
To agree to right now.
Correct, like they're not, if
You're
we sign
not
today,
gonna
we're not
get
getting it tomorrow, we're not getting them till
Pick it up, drive it on.
June
End of the year.
or August,
Okay.
minimum. So, there is other one from Horton, but I know from, watching meetings in the past, Hortons are considered the Cadillac of ambulances. They come with options that most don't standard. They're good units, but that option is available. I'm just not getting back into that pool anymore. I'm giving you what will work, is practical, and mimics what we have, not asking for stuff with items that I don't have. Because I can ask you for that, because it's $397,000, but I'm not gonna even ask for that. It's available though. Any questions?
How many trucks do you run?
3 full-time, but we run for about 4 to 5 days a week.
And we're one down.
We're one down, so I have 4 and I'm running. Like yesterday, we ran out of trucks from 10:30 to 2. I had runs pending because I'm down a truck. So we were responding, providing care, but we were waiting on units to transport. It's busier than you think. Now, is that all the time? No, but we get to these peaks that we're running, and we deal with it. It's nothing that we need, extra personnel or anything for. We just call in our part-time that's willing, the way we schedule it's willing to do availability. We're handling that situation because it's not regular enough to have an extra truck or anything. We're dealing with that side. There's one other thing I was gonna talk about, but
But in
we're
a situation
dealing
like
with
that, we
it.
had people waiting.
Yes.
We had people waiting.
You did. And that's the problem that I know I've been asked, well, why can't we just send this one off for an upfit first, right? Because if I do that, that truck's gone for 4 months. I can't be down a truck for 4 months.
You have a truck now because of transmission.
Right, so I'm down the truck now, and if I send that off, we're real bad.
What's the time to get that back up and running, do you know?
It goes tomorrow for a full evaluation.
Okay.
That's all I know. They couldn't get us in until
So
tomorrow.
you could be another 3 months, 4 months?
I could be 2 weeks or 2 months, yes, sir.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I personally think it's smart to want to replace, instead of doing it all in one big swoop and buying 5 brand new ones in a year. I know that in the past on some of our county equipment, we've got into situations where all of a sudden we need, not just ambulances, other equipment, because everything works at the same time, or it's all going to pot at the same time.
And I will say for the 7 years that I was here prior, and I'm sure some of you that have been on here from, we were always in a rotation of getting one a year, whether it was a remount or a purchase, we always were replacing something. And then
That's what
prior to 2019, the last year or two, they didn't get anything. So I'm not saying the purchases were unjust necessarily, it put us in a situation, put me in a situation, or whoever's gonna be in my seat, to have to start thinking about replacing these, to not repeat 2019 of buying 5 trucks in a year.
Right. Cause that was a big hit.
Yeah.
When do you need to know for the 30-day window?
I don't know if this is it's addressed to the commissioners, so I was gonna bring this to them. But the reason that I'm bringing this to you is to see if I don't wanna bring this to them if this is gonna get voted down here. It's a waste of my time and yours. You're the one that,
ultimately they have to.
yeah, they have to approve it, but ultimately you're the ones with the zeros. So it's a two-board thing to where if you think this is something we can get acquired from, whether it be, you know, some of the, like, split between opioid and ARP, do ARP or ARPA, do redevelopment, whatever the case might be. But you guys deal with the zeros, they deal with my permission. I have to go to both of you anyway. I didn't wanna wait till next month because they're gonna be gone by next month.
Right.
So if Ivar can go to them and say, I've talked to the council, they've agreed on this, if you're willing to sign it, we'll deal with the money. We'll try to find an issue with the money in the next 30 days. That would be my idea. But again, I'm at your mercy. I'm just trying to give you as much information as I can.
So ultimately, we have 30 days
This gives you 30 days to
Free
take this
to-
truck off the market and figure something out.
to
So they're-
discuss it and talk about it without a deposit.
Like a 30-day note.
Yep,
Yes, without
like
having no penalties.
A commitment to buy, which it says right here. If for any reason they decide to go another route, there would be no penalty whatsoever and the purchase contract would be voided. This is just saying it's showing there's a commitment to try and get it. But again, I try to do everything the right way and come to the proper boards before I just make decisions myself, so. That's why it's brought to you.
Now, the reason I question how many trucks is because, if I recall history, we went from 2 trucks to 3 trucks to 4 trucks. And so,
We've never just owned 2 trucks in the history of Everton.
well,
We've run 2 trucks full time,
Yeah.
but we've always owned 5.
we've always owned 5 trucks.
That, as far as I've worked here, yes. Because when you send
When
stuff
did we
off for
start running 4
service,
trucks though?
do
We
what?
haven't run 4 trucks very, very long, because you always.
We
talk
don't
about
run
running
4
3
trucks. We run
You
3.
just told me.
Because we have the run volume, people come in off shift. I'm not here asking for staff for 4 trucks. When I was here in 2015, we ran 4 trucks at times.
The 4th truck is in addition as needed, so
This is
there's
the problem,
always,
is not understanding the actual EMS side of things. We've run 4 trucks for years.
so there's,
We've staffed 4 trucks for years.
there's 3 trucks that are running
That's
All
why
the
we have
time.
it.
all the
We
time.
run
Remember-
all the time.
Remember the on-call thing that we used to have 2 years ago? That was your 3rd and 4th truck.
The 4th truck is if they've got patients.
Excess runs.
Yes, thank you. Excess runs, then they call their part-time people in and say, hey, jump on that 4th truck.
I'm not
So
sure
it's
how,
not in rotation all the time on a daily basis, it's as needed. Is that an accurate?
and I'm not sure how replacing trucks has to deal with that.
What's that?
I'm not sure how replacing trucks has to, what that, the trucks have to be replaced for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd truck regardless. I'm not sure where we're going with buying a truck.
If I've got 5 vehicles that I have to keep, rotating, and they cost $300,000 or $400,000 a year, if I only have 3, then I have to rotate.
You have 3 and 1 goes down, you're screwed.
Well, I know, but how many are we gonna need? I mean, in the next year or 2, we're gonna need 6?
Can you project growth?
Well, I mean, yeah, I can predict the crows, we haven't had any,
The county?
Yeah, cause
Oh,
I
no,
have
the county-
228%.
The county is growing. The county's growing. And with that comes.
I'm not asking for personnel, I'm asking to replace trucks that my people use. That's the problem with information that's not correct, I'm not asking for personnel. I've dealt with this, we've dealt with being understaffed at this service since I've been here in 2013. That's a fact. I've worked here since 13, I was gone for 2 years, I've worked understaffed at this service for 8 years. That's not new. We've been the redheaded stepchild for years. I'm trying to do what I have to do to support this service and not put this board, the commissioner board, or any other tax money, because when I came here, this service was on lit for $848,000. $848,000. You know how much you're on hook for lit this year?
About 200,000.
Not even,
No.
Yeah. But I
in
mean,
1 year.
But I mean, now we're gonna buy a $400,000 ambulance.
You're buying it anyway, or you go out of service.
And EMS used to buy their own ambulances and did their own remounts.
How much you want me to do in a year?
I don't know, I'm just saying, we're quoting facts here, I'm trying to. put
We
facts.
are quoting facts.
Yes.
Okay,
I've
so,
got- I've got-
alright, stop, let's stop, let's stop. We are here to talk about replacing a vehicle, a truck that needs to be replaced, otherwise we're going to be in a position,
Don't replace it. And buy 5 trucks at once.
okay, Nick, seriously,
I'm-
please. We're here to talk about replacing a vehicle, a truck that needs to be replaced to get on a schedule so that we are not put, and Nick is not put, or whoever's in that position is not put in the position that he was in when he came in. We ended up spending a lot of money, I'm not gonna say unnecessarily, but a lot of money at once for a bunch of vehicles. What we're trying to do, what Nick is trying to do, is get on a rotation where we're not doing all that at once.
I understand.
Okay, so, he's not asking for extra trucks, he's not asking for extra people, he's saying, hey, we've got a vehicle that's gonna go down and is gonna leave us hurt
For about 4 to 5 months possibly.
even longer,
Right.
if we don't do something and act on it. That's what he's asking for,
I understand that.
so,
Well, we've already in a situation where, as you just stated, people have had to wait, and we don't want our citizens
correct.
to have to do without proper care.
So,
So can I ask a question on this contract, make me understand this, this is a 30-day contract that if we, an intent to buy,
It's a commitment to buy, yes.
commitment to buy, but if we decide not to, we are not held, so it's basically a window for the commissioners and the council to take a look at everything, and then if we wanna go through with it, fine, if we don't, fine,
Then they
we are
can-
under no obligation after that 30 days if we decide not to.
Yeah, so what it is it's essentially that, like, we used to buy a lot of our medical supplies from Boundtree. I've shifted a lot of my purchases to Penn Care because of their prices. So Penn Care is willing to work with me because I spend a lot of money with them elsewhere to say, hey, we know that the market sucks right now, because most of it is, you're looking at, what did I say?
A year more.
2 years, right? So getting a truck in 2025. You're gonna have 3 trucks expired by 2025 if you don't replace them. So what they're willing to say is, hey, we know that these demos are few and far between. These are all build sheets, no demos except one. That we have 2 of them. If you are willing to commit to buy one of these, we'll give you 30 days to figure out the funding. If for some reason just the 2 boards can't come together and find the funding,
So basically,
going.
we're getting a 30-day window, and we can figure out what we wanna do, and either yay or nay, but we've got 30 days.
correct.
Which I like, because I'm not a fan of anything being thrown on the table and you gotta vote on it right now.
Me
Make a
either, and
decision.
I don't want, those forms are for the commissioners to sign.
Right.
I just didn't wanna take it to them if funding wasn't gonna be an option, that's all.
But you do have 2 4-wheel drive trucks as of right now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're both in good,
So,
I would say.
good working condition and will be for a while.
I'm,
just say that that's
I'm indifferent right now between the type 2 and or the type 1 and the type 3. I mean, type 3's got gas motors, type 1's got diesel motors. It depends on how you look at the gas versus diesel, longevity of diesel versus gas. It's how you look at it. Type 1's got more room. That's about the only advantage. And the 4-wheel drive part, but I'm indifferent. That's why I brought both abilities to you. I'm not gonna sit here and say, we have to have this style truck for this style thing. I'm open to options.
and this,
I don't see why we can't at least entertain it for 30 days. That makes sense. We still have the option to say no.
I just, like I said, I know that those sheets are for the commissioners, but I wasn't gonna present it to those factual sheets without saying that there's a possibility for funding from somewhere. Cause I know ARP's a hot topic, and so is the opioid stuff.
it's
and-
from the 9th, right?
Yeah, it's from yesterday, I believe.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
He waited till yesterday to get it to your window of your next meeting.
Which is the 7th,
Correct.
14th,
right, 14th,
second Tuesday.
that's right.
But I think we're going to have to meet anyways, having a special meeting for some things that weren't advertised at the end of the month, so this may, when's the next commissioners meeting?
next week.
The 18th.
Next Wednesday.
So if we entertain this, then this pushes it back to the commissioners. Maybe they can,
In my opinion, I'd be more based on the type 3 for 245 at this point. I mean, I totally support your 4-wheel drive options and buying them, but if we have 2 that are in good condition now, we could save 70,000 initially and work towards a 4-wheel drive later on when that needs to be replaced, but.
When that 70,000 would be going, every month, you know.
Right,
every month, but-
that one that he
Yeah, that
needed to
paper
do.
most of that up, but I do wanna say, this, this does not include a power load, that is the only caveat. So it's either buy a stretcher or buy a power load for that unit, which is about 20 grand. But other than that, this is the truck, because it's a demo, they couldn't include that, they can install it when they get it, but they can't include it in that price, because it's
that's
a
the
demo
type
build.
3.
Either of them,
Oh, either of them.
Do we have any of those in our trucks that can come out
every
and go
truck,
in?
no,
No,
So
so the
we
ones
have-
we have, you have to keep.
correct.
You might know extra.
Now, when we remount, they can go into those trucks.
Yeah.
But if I take one out of a truck now, then that takes that truck out of service.
So there'd be another 20,000 on both these processes.
Correct.
So we definitely need to.
I mean, I totally agree that we have to do something to get on board with a rotation, because there's no way we can foot the bill of buying 5 ambulances again, and that should have never been done in the past, but.
So the issue at hand then is, are we gonna entertain the 30-day,
I think that's up to them, I think. It's just, do you think we can find some type of funding in 30 days, I guess would be the better question.
well,
Well, I guess the funding doesn't have to be there in 30 days, but would you feel comfortable enough to make the decision to go ahead and proceed without a deposit for?
I would feel more comfortable doing the 30, saying we're gonna entertain it for 30 days so that we can talk to the commissioners and see about what are their thoughts with some of the ARPA funds, the opioid funds, maybe even the redevelopment, so that seeing what other options we have there before we start entertaining jumping into our county funds.
Don't disagree.
Yeah. I think the 30 days
We
is,
can't afford to buy 5 of them again at
No.
the same time, so we've gotta come up with a plan.
That's all I'm trying to do.
and the plan of 30, the option of 30 days with no penalties, a pretty fair presentation from PennCare or to
They're
EMS.
willing to work with us on that, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so do I have a motion to entertain the 30 days
I guess it'd be for me to go to the
to
commissioners.
go to the commissioners?
I make a motion.
Diane
I'll
makes
second
a
Diane's
motion to send the 200
We're
for
not-
the type
For 30
3.
days, we're not making no commitment, we're just saying we're looking at it.
You're giving me the ability to go to
Exactly.
the commissioners to get them to
Exactly.
sign it for the 30
Exactly.
days, yes.
Type 3.
Weigh our
So,
options.
so will it be 30 days from the 9th or 30 days from when they?
It would be 30 days from when they sign, because they have to have this form signed.
Okay, yeah.
That one signed for them to,
But
So-
actually, the 18th, so actually be the 18th of their meeting.
yes, sir.
And I know we don't have the choice to decide what they buy, but I would definitely lean more towards a vote of yes on the type 3.
Yeah, because that's new, then that gives you extra money for the.
Send purchase.
Like I said, I'm fine with either, I'm just giving you options.
What is the auto load? I don't get that.
So, they invested in that also in 2019, which it has had a big impact on our workman's comp, because what it is the stretcher hooks into it, and instead of the crew lifting, it actually lifts the stretcher itself. So it increased it for that, and the insurance was affected because that's their brand, Inferno's got one, the only true security device of a stretcher in an ambulance, the old claw style that we have that goes in the horns and locks in, those don't cover accident issues for the patient, so that's why they went with those. So it's a device that secures it in the truck, that it's locked into, it can't slide off, and then it also prevents a lot of workman's comp injuries from
Picking it up.
lifting, 500-pound patients into a truck.
And that's an additional 20,000?
20 to 22, yes, sir.
Okay, so I have a motion from Diane to send possible purchase to commissioners to entertain 30-day window for purchase consideration. Did I have a second?
I did.
Now, can you enunciate the motion in specific words?
So I have a motion from Diane to send the purchase of the ambulances or ambulance to the commissioners for them to entertain the 30-day window for consideration. So that when they go to, and he takes it to them, if they say, yeah, we're gonna entertain purchasing it, they're gonna sign this and that'll give us the 30 days then for them to, I guess, maybe entertain some other funding before that brings to us and say, hey, this is what we're looking at.
Okay.
It lets you know that this board and that board in the next 30 days would have to have a conversation about funding.
Yes.
And it takes one vehicle and says this one is now held for us if we need it, that we could get
With no
sometime
This year.
This year.
And that's with no penalties, so. Okay, so I have Diane with the motion, Jared second, all in favor?
7-0.
7-0. Okay. Anything else, sir?
Any questions I can answer for any of you?
And the only question I had, Nick, is, should we, or have we, at any point looked at hotel deals for the people coming to your EMS training board, or would that help you if maybe we could help organize that in some way, since you said you got people from north of Indy, and I know a lot of times, in the past, I've traveled for training, and there's been like a group of hotel rooms blocked out at a better rate that may help bring you more people.
I haven't looked at, to be honest, I haven't looked at that. It hasn't really happened until now that we've had so many classes stacked how they are. Last year we ran 3, or 4. This is the first year we're running 6. So, this is kind of a new adventure for us as well. I think it would be more beneficial when we do the practical skills, which is the hands-on part of those days, because like right now, like EMT is Monday and Wednesday, EMR is Tuesday, Thursday, so it really wouldn't make sense for them. But when we have the weekend blocks that they're here for 2 or 3 days doing skills, hands-on skills and testing, that would make more sense, where it might be beneficial that you can say, hey, you've got 10 people or 10 rooms for the next 2 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
That may be beneficial for them. That way they don't have to travel, multiple times for the weekend.
Thanks for reaching out and getting more people coming. I mean, that's bringing in some revenue and training people to be better anyway.
Yep. Any other questions or things I can clear up?
I don't think so.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Alright. Next on.
You might need that.
Next on the list is, consideration of Denise Vaughn, for full-time for the VA position. I do know, I think we need a job description. I think that, they're working on a job description for that. But
Do we have another full-time VA?
no, so the history with that is she has been part-time for how long? How long has Denise
Ever
been?
since she's been here,
Yeah.
and it's been a part-time position.
He used to have
Always
2
before.
part-time, right?
Right, so this would make her full-time, and then there would still be a part-time. But she has, I don't remember the numbers that she said, but the amount of veterans that she has helped, it's clearly exceeding her part-time availability. And so she had come to us 2 years ago, maybe, asking to be full-time, and I think we didn't do it the first year, and then this past budget season, we funded the full-time position for her. So this is to make her the full-time Veteran Affairs Officer. We do need a job description.
That's what I was gonna say, we're gonna have to table it till we get a job description though, right?
Well, we'll kinda have to decide what the job description's gonna be, you know, too. I mean, I don't know, probably have to get some guidance from Jennifer on
Yeah.
what, you know, might be proper for that particular position. We probably have to, then we have to debate that a little bit, but that goes along with what we want her to be classified as, I
As a
suppose.
full-time, yes. Yep.
Yeah, I think we're hinging on getting that done. What do we have to do that? Get ahold of the people in Indianapolis,
Yeah.
have them write up a preliminary at least, send it to us, and then we go over that, approve it.
So I'd like to make a motion to have a full-time Veterans Affairs position, job description created.
Whatever you call it. You know me and my terms, just whatever you wanna call it, do it.
Okay, so I'll have Diane make the motion. Second, do I have a second?
I can second it.
All in favor? Alright, so next time we meet, get with them, try to have, hopefully we'll have a job description and then we can give our blessing.
Okay.
Alright, salary ordinance correction, you wanna explain?
What do you want me to?
Sure, I will. We were looking at the salary ordinance. You didn't bring it in?
Let me go get it, I apologize. What we found is there are rounding errors with what last year's pay was. It looks like what they did is they took that amount, and when they took, just say for the full-time people, the 3%, when it rounded, say it went to 28.1182, they rounded to 28.12, which then they took that 28.112, and that's what they made the year-end salary be. So we're off on every one of the salaries through there due to that rounding error.
I don't think it's, honestly, I don't think it could all be rounding errors. Some of it's a typo, cause one of them went down $2 instead of
Yeah,
up.
there was a mistake.
That was a
but-
mistake. So the salary ordinance is incorrect. There's a difference between, well, that one was $4,000 because it was a $2 mistake, to like $8 down to 15 cents. So like the salary, the number's gonna be put in the computer right to pay everybody, but our bottom line's gonna be different that you signed off on. So we're gonna have to do a correction.
Alright.
And that kind of hinges on one of the next things, whether we're gonna get Teresa in here or not. She may be able to explain this, but just flat math does not explain what the error's from. So,
Well, the one
Flat
pretty
math
much had to
doesn't
be,
lie,
from your office, pretty much had to be an error, cause it was a $2 decrease in pay, right?
Decrease, didn't it go down?
What was
the HRV
The
care
HRV.
coordinator,
you guys did an increase in pay and then back in, I was on the training in June, when I came in here for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that should have been a fix 6 months ago.
what do you mean, it was decreased or in?
It was
No,
increased.
it was
I came in
increased.
and council for an increase of $2 for those two positions back in June.
Okay, it wasn't fixed on the salary ordinance.
Okay, yeah, so
So
that's been.
we'll fix, yeah.
That solves that one.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are rounding issues, we believe.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are some of them will go down by $2.73. I found a whole little column right here that it went down. All the rest of them are up. I don't understand. How can that be rounding?
That's the only way I could get it to add up.
But the ones that go down, down $8.74, the difference between 1662, that
Well,
would
I
not.
think if you had a salary and when you rounded it, it went to like 26.34, they're gonna round down to,
Right,
Yeah.
26,
where.
But you really can't be rounding down.
you can't.
You can't
Well,
round down
If it's under
salaries.
5,
No.
you round down, that's what I'm saying, like, if you're
Yeah.
going out 4 decimal places, like I
Yeah.
said, that one is 28.1182. Well, that would take it to 28.12, but if that went to 28.1145, then you're gonna leave it at 11, but that .45 on the end will make it a little different.
Yeah, but,
So we need to adopt this new salary ordinance to fix the
It hasn't been
mathematical
fixed.
errors.
it hasn't been.
We
has
just
to be
found the
corrected.
error.
Yeah, they just found the errors, so,
We'll have to correct it,
so,
and then you'll
yeah,
have to adopt the new one.
they were just,
And this doesn't
Letting
change
us-
anybody's payroll, we're still on, they're
No.
still gonna get their money.
It just changes the
Okay.
bottom line, what's coming
yeah,
out.
Alright.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're just. letting
everybody's
us
getting the
know.
right money as soon
Okay.
as we fix hers.
Well, they've been getting the right one. They've been getting paid.
They've been
correctly.
getting paid correctly, so it's just on our
It's
ordinance.
just on the ordinance,
Okay.
okay.
We'll fix it.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright,
You'll have that next time, next meeting, okay?
alright,
Shots fired.
alright, so now we have the grant application fee for the Lair grant. Do you have that?
Yes, I do, and I need a signature from the vice chairman on that.
What is this for?
You're signing.
No, you don't get that.
So,
Can you explain that to us?
The Lair grant, oh, go ahead.
so the Lair grant, this is for the lake and river enhancement funds. It's the one that's used to clear the log jams and
Yeah.
debris from the Muscatatuck.
Okay.
There's a $1,500 application fee.
Okay.
And they're asking
They're
for
asking
30,000.
How much was the fee?
1,500.
So is that gonna be, let's see, we paid a, what, 10%, 20%, some
We,
portion of that and got a real good deal on.
20%.
20%.
You know, they're doing the work and all
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
And so the 1,500 is gonna be an additional that we need to provide.
I'm not sure on that one.
I don't think it's
I think it's just to pay for the grant, isn't it?
it's the application fee, but yes, I think it's
And
in
this is
addition to.
It is additional from us.
Yeah,
And this is a reimbursable grant, so county spends it and then we're reimbursed
yeah.
the money, or,
We won't be, I don't think we'll be reimbursed for the application fee.
right.
Sure.
So the 1,500 would probably be above and beyond all of that to apply.
Yep. So,
Everybody good?
all in
Well-
favor to,
Make a motion.
I mean, we'll need to know, or I'll need to know what, you know, if the 1,500 is gonna be actual cash that we have to put out. Because
Or in kind, are you saying outlay or in kind?
yeah, I mean, is that gonna be an additional expense to us, is what I'm saying?
Cause I remember she came in and talked about it on one of the meetings I watched
Yeah.
last year, but I don't recall whether they spoke about that.
when did they, when did,
This was on December 21st, I think, that she was here.
Yeah. But did she, when did she let you know about the $1,500 application fee?
She brought that packet in probably last Tuesday, or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, a phone number, or to call her and ask her.
Yeah.
Hmm?
It's a,
I don't, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I thought she mentioned that fee.
don't get me wrong, it's a good deal, I just wanna make sure I know where the 1,500 and how it's gonna, you know, take care of.
The
Can you
log?
find that out for us,
The
or
logs, okay.
can we, you know, we can table it, or what do you
Yeah,
wanna
let's-
do, I don't care.
Okay.
Do
Let's
we have a
go,
number we can just call her and ask her real quick?
Yeah, either way.
Wonder if my phone.
And then she ain't gotta wait another month if we can get her on the phone and ask clarifying question.
Yeah.
what did she say, loan them $2, is that what she said?
I remember every time I talked to me about it, I remember he said they got the application fee. Right. That they,
And that's a good
they
point.
pay, and
Sure.
then they turn around and they're reimbursed. Cause it's a percentage of the grant that you have to pay for the application fee.
Well, while we're waiting, so, there was some issues with advertising, with the Crothersville Times, is that it, Crothersville Times? So there's quite a few things that didn't get advertised in time, one of them being the public defenders, thing that we had to rectify, another being the community crossings grant. All of those things need to be done before the 1st of February, so Jennifer's going to go make sure that all those things are advertised, but we're gonna have to come in at the end of January for a special meeting to get that stuff.
Just kinda let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, well, that's why we're gonna decide what, it's gotta be the 30th or the 31st, those are the 2 days, 2 options that we have. So,
If we could do it in the morning this time, while I work on getting my schedule changed for moving forward, would that be okay with everybody?
sure.
While I'm working on getting my schedule changed, so I don't,
So 30 or 31 is what you're talking about?
30th or the 31st, or it's really when we've gotta come in, to get those things, cause then they'll have been advertised for the proper amount of time.
So that's on Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, so either day works,
So the EMS, so the commissioners meet on the 18th.
yeah.
Okay.
18th.
I'll
So
throw
we've
out,
gotta come in, we've gotta come in on the 30th or the 31st for those things that didn't get advertised.
I'll say Monday, the 30th for me, you know, whatever. But I can,
So that work for you
That's
there?
fine, make it work.
that's fine with me.
John,
You good? Whatever.
December 30th,
January 30th,
January.
not
Thank
December.
you all for working with me on that
we're
time
gonna, we're gonna
too.
do that AM like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At 9:30?
I think that works.
Yeah, that's what,
Would you be able to?
Yeah,
I'll make
just
it
for this
happen.
time.
Okay,
Gives me time to work on my other schedule.
because Diane needs it. You good with that still?
I'll make it for our next meeting.
Me
did
too.
you say you can't, or you?
He will, we'll make it work.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to meet, and I'll let Josh and everybody know that we'll be January 30th at 9:30 AM. So,
Should we look at doing a joint session and talk about this ambulance thing then while we're here?
we
I
can,
think
yeah.
we need to, because they'll vote on that on the 18th, and
And
then,
that'll give them a couple weeks to figure out if they're on board and we get that squared
as
away.
we said on the 18th, that they signed that on the 18th, and there's 30 days after
After
that.
that.
So if
Can we
do it on
advertise
the
it like
31st
that?
or the 30th,
I can try it.
A joint meeting with the commissioners, if they're okay with it. You may
Do
ask
something.
them on the 18th if they can be here on the 30th at 9:30 and we all just meet and take care of that
And that
issue
way,
as
if we
well.
can't get a hold of anybody on any answers
This,
on this, we can
then we
get
can do
answers
it.
on that on the 30th,
Okay.
so.
I think your answer or your question is worthy
Yeah.
of a response, so
So let's table the Lear grant.
you wanna hold on to that? I'm not
Application.
gonna sign it until we get answers on
Have
that.
an answer.
Need a motion?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
I'll move the table
I said,
until, you know, the 30th, I suppose.
Who seconded that?
Miller,
All in favor?
7-0.
A couple of things on the salary, you know, issue. Well, I guess we're gonna go to the next thing, maybe bring it up at the next discussion to talk about, we'll get Teresa to come back. I think probably incorporate those two things, Teresa come back and look at it, you guys get together on what we need to do to fix that. If anything, I don't know, you know, and then, you know, that, and did we make a motion or, ask for advice or anything on the job description specifically, or are we just gonna, how do we handle that?
We tabled it until we can get a job description
Okay, so,
for the Veterans Affairs.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Cause they'll send us a preliminary one, we can look look over it, make changes to the job description as you see fit, then we approve
Yeah.
that, then I would feel more comfortable talking about a specific person to move into it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to decide what we want her to be, really. I mean, you know, we can have, well, I mean, we can have her in several different, classifications. I mean, that may be a debate, but, you know, between some of us, but, I mean, you know, she's technically like a department head, but, you know, some department heads are, you know, in charge of huge departments that have tons of responsibility and equipment and personnel and all this and that. And do we want to make her department head making the same amount of money as that person does?
We already decided on the salary last year at budget time.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
At budget.
Okay. So, well, that will help.
Yeah.
Whether or not, what her position is.
Okay.
Which I think if she's the only one there,
She's the
she's
only.
kinda gotta be the department head
she
until
is
it
the
moves
de-
bigger.
She is the department head, and she has been the department head. She's just been part-time.
Okay.
Does she agree to the salary that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, and we included the benefits into the salary, although she does not take advantage of them because she has her VA benefits. But she wanted to keep them in there in case she vacates that position,
And
and
someone
somebody
else
coming
takes it.
else in will still have that option.
Makes
Mhm.
sense.
It's on, page 6 of your big packet there.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
There
we,
was a lot of discussion because we were having veterans that weren't being able, they weren't open, they couldn't get in there to get help
Oh, yeah, that's.
and things like that, so that was kind of why we kind of, I
I
think,
can understand actually, you know, question, you know.
make sure that they have access.
okay. So we tabled the Lear grant till we get information on that. Alright, next one. Steve.
Okay, with Teresa, and I printed off an email or a text that we had this morning, but, we had talked back and forth, we were trying to figure out how to pay her, if we could bring her back. I could really use the help in the office, because there are some things, like I said, with the budget, just some things like that we don't understand, we'd like to, we've reached out to Lowe, our software company, which they have tremendous support to help. But right now, they're busy helping other counties getting their W-2s and their 1099s finished up. So we're not getting as much luck getting them in the building for training or any kind of help that we thought we'd have. I've had two auditors that were supposed to call me, and I haven't got contact with either one of them as of yet. So I feel a little bit stuck in the water, quite frankly.
And the books are closed.
Yeah, the books are not closed from last year, they were not closed. And I'm not saying, I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but when I was in Jackson County, I spent some time with their payroll girl, and she did say that when they did their payroll the last day of the year, it did make it very difficult to close out the books at the end of the year. You know, it just took a little more time when there was a payment, you know, what was ours, December 30th, so. But I would like to bring Teresa back, and, I think I had numbers, but her pay, I think, is 2878, 28 something. I'd like to bring her back at that for up to 35 hours and see what we can do. And at that point, I'd like for her to close out the books while we're watching her. I mean, she'll be showing us how to do it, walk us through it, and then make a list of questions, kinda like this salary ordinance and the things that we don't really understand why there's a difference. Is that a mistake? Is that just something that's in there that's, we don't understand how that works, that kind of thing. To pay her out of part-time, I cannot do that because that's capped at $12 an hour. When I called State Board of Accounts, I can move that to temporary pay, and at that point, I can pay her at her previous payment, hourly payment. I can do that.
Now,
So what I
are
can
you
do,
talking 35 hours period?
Period.
35 hours a week for?
period, done, that's it, yeah. It would be just about another week.
It's about 9.
What's her pay, 28,
28, 27.
27? We're looking at $989,
It was under $1,000, so.
50 cents roughly.
Do you need a motion to transfer money?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Well, we need a motion if we're going to,
Is that gonna make your part-time short, or do you have that?
Right now, I think we've got $3,400 in the budget for part-time help, so it's gonna take, close to 1,000 out, so it's gonna give me 2,400. I hate to say, I have no idea what I'm facing.
Sure.
Being my first year.
Understandable.
We don't have a position there, but I don't know what we would need. I don't know why that was in there from before. I don't know if that's something that maybe comes up at budget time. I don't know.
Usually they bring in part-time people to help them input all the department budgets before they.
That's what I'm thinking, maybe the budget, but if we go ahead, when we talked at the joint account, or joint, meeting, if we use Baker Tilly, that might kinda alleviates the need for some of that.
And we don't have numbers on that yet.
Well, I think they were trying to send that after the meeting started, so we'll table that one to the January 30th meeting.
Alright.
So,
What's everybody's feelings?
So you need a motion to move money from her part-time to her temporary. That's what you would be asking.
Yes.
Is that right?
I'm sorry, I think we can probably incorporate two things at once. I mean, we accept the idea that we're gonna let Teresa do this as one type, part of it, and then.
I think it needs to be two
we can separate it.
Two motions.
So
In my
maybe
opinion-
we should just,
Sorry.
go ahead.
In my opinion, our role would be to move the funds, and then her being the department head of the auditor's office, it's ultimately whoever she decides to employ for that money. If it's Teresa or she finds somebody on the street who can do that, it's ultimately her decision, not us to decide the person. It's our choice.
Right.
Our role is to decide to move the funds, I guess.
And I would make that motion.
And I'll second.
and that is to temporarily move the money, or to move the money, not temporary, from the, part-time account to the temporary account.
That's what you're saying you need to do, right?
Yes.
So how much are,
Employment.
so what's the total that we're moving?
Is it 980?
899.
You wanna just move 1,000 and give you a buffer into that line item?
No,
You want 989.45?
yeah, yeah.
989.45 is the total. At 35 hours.
What was that total again, I'm sorry?
989.45.
From part-time to temporary. Alright, so I have White with the motion, do I have a second?
I seconded it. Seconded it.
Okay.
Alright, all in favor? Noes?
You're the one that made the motion.
No? Johnny?
No,
Are
I was
you-
for it.
Are you a no or a yes?
Johnny, no, you're a
Yes.
yes?
So I had 6 yes and 1 no. Okay.
The next thing is what, the salary ordinance? You need a
You said
motion
no,
for
I
that?
think anybody said no.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh.
I just think that getting somebody else in here and having a clean slate would be the best. I don't think that, when she tried to get in here before the year was up and she was not able to, I think it's kinda telling, but here we are.
If it eases anybody's fears, she will not be closing the books by herself.
No,
I
yeah,
will be
No.
closing
yeah,
them, she will be showing you
Yeah.
how.
yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be, yeah.
There's also something like with the department room, Nick and I have talked for budget wise, there's things that need to be dated in
Right.
2022, but
Right.
to make our budgets line
Right.
up, that, before they close the books.
Exactly.
Right, that they know, yeah.
But we just didn't get time to get to it, so.
And you reached out to her, right?
Yes, we have talked back and forth, and like I said, I was
What'd you
not
say?
allowed in the office before. I did not get the keys until January first, I was in here January first.
So see, you couldn't have access to
No,
it before
no.
that
No,
time.
they just need to fix it, it was just
So,
letting everybody know.
It's
that-
made it very
sense.
difficult for me, yeah, I mean, it could have been a smoother transition, it definitely could have. But I don't really know how to fix it, and I don't know how to bring somebody else in, and like I said, if we could have contacted Lowe and had them in there and had them walk through, we might have been able to do it, but they still wouldn't have understood probably some of the other things that went on in the
Right.
office, so this way we'll get a chance to.
But it wasn't
look
like
at
she
it.
was contacting you, contacted her and said.
We
hey.
both talked, yeah, we both have, yes, back and forth, so.
Well, I will say I'm not happy with the transition, but if it'll help you, I will
That's-
do what we need to
Right,
do
We
to
just
help
make
you.
it the best we can going on, cause that way we know what we wanna do when it's our turn.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're gonna do it right.
Okay, so that's done, so now we have the consideration of the minutes,
And I guess,
From that joint meeting.
for the, or is that for
no, this was for the 2021 meeting,
2022's meeting?
or 2022, yes, 2022.
So it's,
It's December 21, 2022,
You're
yeah.
taking us way back.
so
There's a
the,
21 in there, just
so
the
the
wrong
only
place.
people that really need to.
Yeah, will be,
What's that?
Eric and Diane.
Us three to look at it and.
Be Eric,
Yeah.
Diane, and Lindy.
Yeah,
Is this the one with the joint one?
No.
no, that's the last meeting.
Oh, I was here.
Yeah, you was.
You guys keep getting me scared.
Do I have-
Where was I
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
at? Okay, I remember, yeah. I thought you were throwing something on me, I couldn't remember what.
You're gonna need more than just you three to approve it, right?
I don't have them
We
either.
don't have anybody else though, they weren't here.
We all just abstain.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah, move.
Hang on a second.
All in
I was
favor?
here.
3, and then.
3 and then 4 abstain. We don't have nothing to do with that.
Is this the one we gotta sign?
No, it's in the book here.
Hey, do we need to sign that this resolution?
Yeah, we need, we'll all need
Yes,
to
it's
sign the
up here, they can
resolution.
sign that.
Send this down there for signatures.
And I have motion to adjourn.
Do we need to do this signatures first? I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
That was everybody, right?
7-0.
Mm.
Uh,